Chaitanya Lila Vistar Karno Do Nityananda Padamja Karunarena Bhushito Yakta Chano Burachincho Vavande Vyasadupino Shri Guru Gaur Gandharva Govindas-cha Ganaisaha Jayanti Patakas-cha Sarvesham Karunartina. So we are continuing with Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, Antya Lila Chapter 2. Yesterday we began to hear about this pastime with Ch.Ch. Haridas. So we'll continue. Radodine sobemeli prabhu charane Haridas lagi kichu koilani vedane. The next day, all the devotees together approached the lotus feet of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to submit an appeal on behalf of Ch.Ch. Haridas. And this again, we've been mentioning this non-envious mood of the associates of Mahaprabhu. And again, we're seeing an example of this, that Mahaprabhu is unhappy with someone. And there's actually a number of examples of this. We won't go into all of them now throughout Chaitanya Charitamrita. But Mahaprabhu is unhappy with one of his devotees, and the others are not, going to, rushing to condemn that person, but rather they're trying to invoke the grace of Mahaprabhu upon that person. They're not thinking, oh, he's so low, he's so inferior, but rather let us, try to soften our Lord's heart so He will give His mercy to him. This is true Vaishnavata. Alpa parad Prabhu koroho prasad Hebe shiksha hoilana koribe aparad. Haridas has committed a small offense, they said. Therefore, O Lord, please be merciful to him. Now he has received a sufficient lesson. In the future he will not commit such an offense. Prabhu ko he mor vash na he mor man prakriti sabashi vairagi na kore darshan. Mahaprabhu said, my mind is not under my control. It does not like to see anyone in the renounced order who talks intimately with women. Nija karje jaha sabe chadavitta kata punajadi kaha manadeki behita. You should all tend to your respective engagements. Give up this useless talk. If you speak this way again, I shall go away and you will no longer see me here. So Mahaprabhu is being firm. Eta shuni sobe nija karne hasta diya Nija nija karje sobe gelo to utiya. Hearing this, all the devotees covered their ears with their hands, got up, and went about their respective duties. Mahaprabhu majjan kodite choli gela ujanna jaye he Mahaprabhu lila. Mahaprabhu also left that place to perform his noon duties. No one could understand his pastimes. Anodin sobe paramananda puristane Prabhu ke prasana koro koilani vedane. The next day all the devotees went to Sri Paramananda Puri and requested him to pacify the Lord. So Paramananda Puri, he's one of the senior Vaishnavas. There's Brahmananda Bharati, Paramananda Puri, who else? One or two others. They're also sannyasis, and they are, I believe, they are all disciples of Madhavendra Puri. So they are like the godbrothers, Guru Bhai of Mahaprabhu's Guru, Ishwar Puri. So Mahaprabhu always treats them as his guru. He will offer his obeisance to them when he has when he's invited to lunch somewhere. Generally he'll be invited by this small group of sannyasis, so they will also accompany him. So now the devotees are, they're changing their strategy. They're thinking of someone who's, senior, who Mahaprabhu has more respect for, then he'll listen, perhaps. Tabe pari gosai eka prabhu stane aila, namaskari prabhu tare sambrame bosaila. Paramananda Puri thereupon went alone to the residence of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. The Lord, after offering him obeisances, seated him by his side with great respect. Puchila ki agya kene hoilo agaman, Haridase prasad lagi koilani vedan. The Lord inquired, "What is your order? For what purpose have you come here?" Paramananda Puri then submitted his prayer that the Lord show favor to Choto Haridas. Shuniya kohen Prabhu shuno ho gosai, sab Vaishnav loye tumi roho etai. Hearing this request, Mahaprabhu replied, "My dear Lord, please hear me. It is better for you to stay here with all the Vaishnavas." More agya hoy mui jawa lalanat, ekale rohibo taha govinda matra sat. Please give me permission to go to Alalanat, which is like right next to Puri. I shall remain there alone. And there is a deity there, who I believe is called Alalanat. I have not been, but I think the deity is called Alalanat. I think some Vishnu deity, and then that town is named after that deity. But Mahaprabhu would go there sometimes to see that deity. So he's saying, he's like politely telling Paramananda, no, I cannot follow what you're telling me to do. Better I just leave, Now, if you're going to insist that I act in this way, then I just have to leave. I will respectfully withdraw. So please give me permission to go to Alalanat. I shall remain there alone. Only Govinda, his personal servant, will go with me. Eta boli Prabhu jari Govinde govolaila, Koride namaskar kori utiya cholila. After saying this, the Lord called for Govinda. Offering obeisances to Paramananda Puri, he got up and began to leave. Aste vyaste Puri gosai, Prabhu age gela, Anu noi kori Prabhure gore bosaila. In great haste, Paramananda Puri Gosai went before him and with great humility persuaded him to sit down in his room. Tomar je ichha koro swatantra ishvar, kebaki bolite pare tomar upar. Paramananda Puri said, "My dear Lord Chaitanya, you are the independent personality of Godhead. You can do whatever you like. Who can say anything above you?" And this, we see it's mentioned, this Swatantra Ishwar, he's fully independent. And so, sometimes he's posing that he is, like it's mentioned in Narayan's verses to Durvasa Muni, that famous Aham Bhakta Paradino Asva, that same word, Swatantra, is there. Name Bhakta, no, Aham Bhakta Paradino. Now I've got them mixed up but that Eva Dvija, Aham Bhakta Paradino, Yasvancha Eva Dvija, Sarubir Grasta Hridayo, Bhakter Bhakta Janab. I've got some words wrong, I'm getting mixed up. But anyway, this same word is there. So it's saying that it is as if I am independent, and the same word, independent, but even, it is as if, not exactly the case, but this is my posing, that I am, bound by the love, grasta hirdayo, of my devotees. So sometimes he's posing in this way, but other times he's just doing as he pleases. So like we see, sometimes he's very submissive to his devotees, but other times here he's behaving in an independent way. That is his according to his sweet will. So Paramananda Puri said, my dear Lord Chaitanya, you are the independent personality of Godhead. You can do whatever you like. Who can say anything above you? Lokahita lagi tomar savyavahar, ami sab na jani gambir hridoy tomar. All your activities are for the benefit of people in general. We cannot understand them, for your intentions are deep and grave. Etaboli puri gosai gela nijastane, haridasastane gela sabbak dagane. After saying this, Paramananda Puri left for his own home. Then all the devotees went to see Choto Haridas. I mean, like how extremely loving they are. First they're going to Mahaprabhu, please give your mercy to Haridas. Not working. Then they go to senior Vaishnava Paramananda Puri, please, can you talk to Mahaprabhu? He goes to Mahaprabhu, please give your mercy. No, it doesn't work. Then they're all going as a group to see Choto Haridas personally. I mean, this is so beautiful. This is so loving. This is true friendship in Krishna consciousness. They're going as a group. Even Srup Damodar is going, who's the number one next to Mahaprabhu. Swarup Gosai Kohe Shuno Haridas Sobe Tomar Hitavanshi Koroho Vishwas. Srup Damodar Gosai said, please hear us, Haridas, for we all wish you well. Please believe this. Prabhu hatte poriyache swatantra ishwar Kabu kripa koriben jate doyalu antar. At present, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is persisting in his mood of anger because he is the independent Supreme Personality of Godhead. At some time, however, he will surely be merciful, for at heart he is very kind. Tumi hatta koiletar hatta se badibe snan bojang koro apane krodha jabe. The Lord is persisting, and if you also persist, his persistence will increase. It is better that you bathe and take prasadam. So I think what he means by here is if you continue with this direct appeal, this mood of asking for the Lord's forgiveness, then that will intensify Mahaprabhu's let's say stubbornness, transcendental stubbornness. So better you just relax, withdraw, and in due course his anger will automatically subside. So let it take its natural course and he'll come to that eventually. The Lord is persisting, and if you also persist, his persistence will increase. It is better for you to bathe and take prasadam. In due course, his anger will automatically subside. Hitaboli tare snan vojan koraya apan bhavanaila tare ashvasiya. Having said this, Srup Damodar Goswami induced Haridas to bathe and take prasadam. After thus reassuring him, he returned home. Prabhu jadi jan Jagannath darashane dore rohe Haridas kore darshane. When Mahaprabhu went to see Lord Jagannath in the temple, Haridas would stay a long distance away and see him. Mahaprabhu kripa sindhu ke pare bojite priya bhakte danda korin dharma bujaite. Mahaprabhu is the ocean of mercy. Who can understand him? When he chastises his dear devotees, he certainly does so to re-establish the principles of religion or duty. I'll read this purport. Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur says in this connection that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the ocean of mercy, chastised Junior Haridas, although he was his dear devotee, to establish that one in the devotional line engaged in pure devotion should not be a hypocrite. For a person engaged in devotional service in the renounced order, having intimate relationships with women is certainly hypocrisy. This chastisement was given to Junior Haridas as an example to future Sahajiyas who might adopt the dress of the renounced order, to imitate Rupa Goswami and other bona fide sannyasis, but secretly have illicit connections with women. To teach such men, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu chastised his dear devotee Haridas for a slight deviation from the regulative principles. Srimati Madhavi Devi was a highly elevated devotee. Therefore, approaching her to ask for some rice to serve Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was certainly not very offensive. Nevertheless, just to preserve the regulative principles for the future, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu enforced the hard and fast rule that no one in the renounced order should intimately mix with women. Had Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu not chastised Junior Haridas for this slight deviation, so-called devotees of the Lord would have exploited the example of Junior Haridas to continue their habit of illicit connections with women unrestrictedly. Indeed, they still preach that such behavior is allowed for a Vaishnava, but it is strictly not allowed. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is the teacher of the entire world, and therefore he enforced this exemplary punishment to establish that illicit sexual connections are never allowed by Vaishnava philosophy. This was his purpose in chastising Junior Haridas. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is in fact the most magnanimous incarnation of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, but he strictly prohibited illicit sex. Dekitra supajilo sabhakta gane Swapreha charilo sobe Shri Sambhashane. After all the devotees saw this example, a mentality of fear grew among them. Therefore they all stopped talking with women, even in dreams. Hemate Haridaser ekvatsar gelo Tabu Mahaprabhu mane prasad nahilo. In this way, a complete year passed for Ch.Ch. Haridas, but still there was not a sign of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mercy toward him. Ratri avasheshe prabhure dandavata hoya prayagete gela kareho kichuna bolia. Thus, at the end of one night, Junior Haridas, after offering Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu his respectful obeisances, departed for Prayag without saying anything to anyone. Prabhupada prapti lagi sankalpa korilo, Chiveni pravesh kore prana charilo. Junior Haridas had conclusively decided to attain shelter at the lotus feet of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Thus he entered deep into the water at Triveni, the confluence of the Ganges and Jamuna at Prayag, and in this way gave up his life. Sekhane divya dehe prabhu stane haila, prabhu kripa payantar dane rohila. Immediately after committing suicide in this way, he went in his spiritual body to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and received the mercy of the Lord. However, he still remained invisible. Gandharva dehegan korenantar dane, rachye prabode shunai gita anyena hi jane. In a spiritual body resembling that of a Gandharva, Junior Haridas, although invisible, would sing at night for Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to hear. No one but the Lord, however, knew of this. Ekadin Mahaprabhu puchila bhakta gane, Haridas kahatare anaho hekane. One day, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu inquired from the devotees, "Where is Haridas? Now you may bring him here." Sabe kohe Haridas varsha purna dine, lache utti kaha gela keho nahi jane. The devotees all replied, "One night at the end of a full year, Junior Haridas got up and went away. No one knows where he has gone." Shuni Mahaprabhu Isha Dasya Rahila, Sab Bhakta Ganman Vishmo Hoi Hoila. While hearing the devotees lament, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was mildly smiling. Thus all the devotees were very much astonished. Ekadin Jagadananda Swarup Govinda, Kashishvar Shankar Damodar Mukunda, Samudra Snane Gela Sobe Shune Kato Dore, Haridas Gayan Jeno Daki Kanta Swade. One day Jagadananda, Swarup, Govinda, Kashishvar, Shankar, Damodar and Mukunda all went to bathe in the sea. They could hear Haridas singing from a distant place, as if calling them in his original voice. Manushana deke madur gita matra shune, Govindadi sabe meli koilo anumane. No one could see him, but they could hear him singing in a sweet voice. Therefore all the devotees, headed by Govinda, made this guess. Vishadi kaya Haridas atmagata koilo, se pape jani brahma rakshasha hoilo. Haridas must have committed suicide by drinking poison, and because of this sinful act, he has now become a Brahman ghost, because normally suicide is considered to be a very serious sin. So this speculation is voiced. Akarna deki macha shunitar gan, sarup kohene mityanuman. We cannot see his material form, they said, but still we hear his sweet singing. Therefore he must have become a ghost. Srup Damodar, however, protested, "This is a false guess. Ajanma Krishna Kirtan Prabhu Sevan, Prabhu Kripa Patra Ch.Ch. Madam." Junior Haridas chanted the holy name throughout his entire life and served the Supreme Lord, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Moreover, he is dear to the Lord and has died in a holy place. Durgati na hoitar sadgati se hoy, Prabhu bangi e pache janibo nishchoy. Haridas cannot have been degraded. He must have attained liberation. This is a pastime of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's. You will all understand it later. So, how can you suggest that he became a ghost? He was such a dear devotee of the Lord, performed such great seva. Then it's not he has gone to a ghostly form. And as we heard earlier, the singing is in his spiritual body. The ghost is more of like it's a material platform, like a mental body, something like that. Prayagoitek Vaishnav Navadvipa Hailo, Haridas Vartateo Sabare Kohilo. A devotee returned to Navadvip from Prayag and told everyone the details of Junior Haridas's suicide. Ch.Ch. Sankalpa Ch.Ch. Chivani Praveshilo, Shuni Shiva Sadyamane Vishmo Hoi Hoilo. He explained how Junior Haridas had made his resolution and had thus entered the waters at the confluence of the Jamuna and Ganges. Hearing these details, Srivas Thakur and the other devotees were very surprised. Varshantare Shivananda Sabbakta Loya Prabhude Mililasi Anandita Hoya At the end of the year, Shivananda Sain came to Puri as usual, accompanied by the other devotees, and thus in great happiness met Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Haridas kaha jadi Shivas puchila, Swakarma fal bukpuman Prabhu tadila. When Srivas Thakur inquired from Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, "Where is Junior Haridas?" the Lord replied, "A person is sure to achieve the results of his fruitive activities." Tobe Srivas tar vitanta kohilo, Ch.Ch sankalpa Ch.Ch chiveni praveshilo. Then Srivas Thakur related the details of Haridas's decision and his entering the waters at the confluence of the Ganges and Jamuna. Because someone at Prayag who was present when Haridas took this decision, he traveled to Navadvip and he gave this news, and so the devotees at Navadvip know, and now they've come to Puri, and so they're giving this news to the devotees in Puri. And Srivas Thakur in particular is telling this to Mahaprabhu, just in case it wasn't clear. So when Mahaprabhu heard these details, he smiled in a pleased mood and said, "If with sensual intentions one looks at a woman, this is the only process of atonement." And we can also say this is not something to be imitated. As it's been mentioned, this is an example. Mahaprabhu is like making an example of Choto Haridas. He's making a point, but it's not that this is the course of action for everyone. And in fact, we heard of one case of one of Srila Swami Maharaj Prabhupada's sannyasis. He had some unfortunate, incident with a woman, and then he took this course of action. And Srila Swami Maharaj Prabhupada clearly stated, this was not the correct, course of action. It's not something to be imitated. This is a leela of Mahaprabhu. And what inspiration comes in the heart of a great soul, that is another thing, But we are not on that platform. We should not imitate anything. So, if someone really out of some very purified heart felt such a sentiment, and it is although generally suicide is described as like the worst sin that could ever be committed, there's also like some acceptable forms of suicide which are described, like some ritual suicide, and so like we hear Raghunath Das Goswami, when after Mahaprabhu and Swarup Damodar left the world, then he decided that he would go to Vrindavan, and he'd jump from Govardhan and commit suicide in that way. So like, what is, and for persons like that also we can say, there's like no difference, between them living in an apparent body in this world and living in their spiritual body. So like this line between so-called life and death, it doesn't really have any meaning for them. So there's living in this world, they choose to step in the other world. It's all like crystal clear for them. And so Raghunath Das Goswami, he made that decision. According to some acceptable manner, he was going to commit suicide. And then of course he changed his mind after he met Rupa and Sanatana. But, again, these things should not be imitated by persons such as ourselves. Sarupadi militobe vichar korila, Triveni prabhave Haridas Prabhupada paila. Then all the devotees, headed by Swarup Damodar Goswami, concluded that because Haridas had committed suicide at the confluence of the rivers Ganges and Jamuna, he must have ultimately attained shelter at the lotus feet of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Ematta lila kore Ch.Ch nandan, jaha shuni bhakta gane judai karnaman. In this way, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the son of Mother Ch.Ch, performs his pastimes, which greatly satisfy the ears and minds of pure devotees who hear about them. Apan karunya loke vairagya shikan, swabhakter gadanurag prakati kadam. This incident manifests the mercy of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. His teaching that a sannyasi should remain in the renounced order, and the deep attachment to him felt by his faithful devotees. I'm getting lost in the grammar here. This incident manifests the mercy of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. His teaching that a sannyasi should remain in the renounced order, and the deep attachment to him felt by his faithful devotees. Tirter mahima nija bhakte atma sat, ekali lai korem prabhu karja pancha sat. It also demonstrates the glories of holy places and shows how the Lord accepts his faithful devotee. Thus the Lord fulfilled 5 or 7 purposes by performing one pastime. Madhur Chaitanya Lila Samudra Gambhir Loke Nahi Buje Buje Jai Bhakta Dear. The pastimes of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu are like nectar, and they are deep like the ocean. People in general cannot understand them, but a sober devotee can. Vishwas Koriya Shunob Chaitanya Charit, Tarkana Koriho Tarke Hobe Viparit. Please hear the pastimes of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu with faith and confidence. Do not argue, for arguments will produce a contrary result. And Shri Rupa Raghunath Pade Jarhas Chaitanya Charitamrita Kohe Krishna Das, praying at the lotus feet of Shri Rup and Shri Raghunath, always desiring their mercy. I, Krishna Das, narrate Shri Chaitanya Charitamrita, following in their footsteps. And now Srila Swami Maharaj has instructions from this chapter, which is quite striking because I don't think we see this at the end of any other chapter. Because it is, it's a little cryptic, it's a little clear, and be easy to draw different conclusions. So he has some very clear, guidance as to how to understand this here. So we can read that. Instructions from this chapter. Summarizing this chapter, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur says that one should derive from it the following lessons. Number 1, although Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is an incarnation of mercy, he nevertheless gave up the company of one of his personal associates, namely Junior Haridas. For if he had not done so, pseudo-devotees would have taken advantage of Junior Haridas's fault by using it as an excuse to live as devotees and at the same time have illicit sexual connections. Such activities would have demoralized the cult of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and as a result, devotees would surely have gone to a hellish place in the name of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And this point is very nice, very sweet, that he gave up. There was also some suffering on Mahaprabhu's part, that he sacrificed the company of his beloved devotee in order to give this teaching to the world. Number 2, by chastising Junior Haridas, the Lord set the standard for acharyas, or the heads of institutions propagating the Chaitanya cult. and for all actual devotees. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu wanted to maintain the highest standard. Number 3, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu instructed that a pure devotee should be simple and free from sinful activities, for thus one can be his bona fide servant. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu taught his followers how to observe the renounced order strictly. Number 4, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu wanted to prove that his devotees are exalted and that their character is ideal. He kindly accepts his faithful devotees and teaches them how much tribulation and disturbance can be produced by even a slight deviation from the strict principles of devotional life. And this is a point, because, there may be some, you're following the line, there may be some slight deviation, but, as you keep going, you're getting further and further and further away. So we have to watch ourselves like that. It starts just a little bit over the line, and before you know it, you're completely off track. So we have to catch ourselves. And it may happen even that, we wake up one day and think, my God, like the last 10 years, what was I doing? I went way off, Who am I? Who was I? Like, what happened, I've gone so far off. So, introspection, consciously trying to practice is very important. And thinking about, where we've come from, where we're going, where we are. Srila Gurudev has mentioned that, that everyone should be conscious of this, from where we have come, where we are, where we are going. What happened to that, enthusiastic teenager? And now what's in my heart? Now what are my priorities in Krishna consciousness? Do I have the same purity of heart, sincerity, and focus on the substance that I had when I started? And how much progress have I made, since day one? Number 5, by chastising Junior Haridas, Mahaprabhu exhibited his mercy toward him. This is another point which we haven't made yet. Thus showing how elevated was Junior Haridas's devotion to him. This is a very important point, that it is only if there is some intimate relationship that the Guru, the Lord, will chastise someone. So it's actually a mark of quality that one should receive such strong chastisement. Intimacy and quality. Because of this transcendental relationship, the Lord corrected even a slight offense committed by his pure devotee. Therefore, one who wants to be a pure devotee of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu should give up all material sense gratification. Otherwise, the lotus feet of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu are very difficult to attain. 6. If one dies in such a celebrated holy place as Prayag, Mathura, or Vrindavan, one can be relieved of the reactions to sinful life and then attain the shelter of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. We can also say, Srila Sri Maharaj would add to that, these are not geographical places, these are planes of consciousness. It's not so straightforward. Number 7, although a pure or faithful devotee may fall down, he nevertheless ultimately gets the chance to go back home, back to Godhead by the mercy of the Lord. Thus end the Bhaktivedanta purports to Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, Antya Leela, 2nd chapter, describing the chastisement of Junior Haridas. So a lot to think about here. And tomorrow we can begin chapter 3, the glories of Srila Haridas Thakur. So we've heard of Choto Haridas, now we hear Bodo Haridas, the senior Haridas Thakur. Okay, much food for thought. Jai Shri Chaitanya Charitamrita ki Jai, Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami ki Jai. Jaya Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parivajaka Charya Varya Ashtotar Sutta Shri Srila Bhakti Sundar Govinda Dev Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. Jai Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parivajaka Charya Varya Ashtotar Sutta Shri Srila Bhakti Lakshak Sridhar Dev Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. Bhagavan Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Thakur Ki Jai. Shri Rupanuga Guru Varga Ki Jai. Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai. Choto Haridas Ki Jai. Saprasad Shima Mahaprabhu Ki Jai. Shri Navadvip Dham Ki Jai. Shri Ganga Jamuna Ki Jai. Shri Bhakti Devi, Rinda Devi, Tulasi Devi Ki Jai. Shri Chaitanya Charitamrita Ki Jai. Shri Chaitanya Saraswat Mat Ki Jai. Vishwavyapi Tadiya Shakamat Ki Jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai. Samagata Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai. Shri Harinam Sankirtan Ki Jai. Nitai Gaur Premanande. Can you turn off the camera, Radharani?